This recipe is a meal prepped version of pasta fagioli, and each serving has around 899 calories with 58 grams of protein to help you get stacked. If you're looking for meals to help you grow muscle and put on some weight, this one should be right in your wheelhouse. But if the big boy life isn't for you right now, stick around till the end and I'll show you some ways to make this one lighter in calories. Pasta e fagioli translates to pasta and beans, and this one has some beef and vegetables thrown in to provide some extra protein and nutrients. Now let's get to it. Here's how you make it. Step 1 is to start your beef in a pot over medium-high heat. I've written this recipe to use 2 pounds or 908 grams of 85/15 ground beef. Part of the reason we are starting the cooking process with the beef is to render out the fat so that we can use it to cook the vegetables in. Spread out the beef in the bottom of the pot to increase the area where beef to pot contact takes place. I'm still in the process of moving, so all of my kitchen gear is currently packed away. I tried to get by with the old do it by hand strategy, but then I remembered I'm going to have to stir boiling liquid later, and I'd rather not do that with my arm. So I went on a little treasure hunt in my garage to find my utensils. There we go. Much better. Next, you can season that beef lightly with salt and pepper. Mine's already been going for a few minutes now because I had to go find all those utensils, which means that it's time to flip, so I took my spatula and turned it over to the other side. Giving ground meats some time over the heat before you start breaking them up helps promote better browning and therefore flavor. If you break it up too early, it can oftentimes lead to more water in the pan, and because water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit and the Maillard reaction that causes browning occurs between 280 and 330 degrees Fahrenheit, you won't see that browning on your meat that you want. While the beef is cooking, take that time to prep all of your vegetables. Cut 1 medium-sized onion, or about 200 grams worth, into a small dice. Then do the same with 3 medium carrots, or also about 200 grams, and then 3 stalks of celery, or about 150 grams worth. It all gets cut into a small dice, and you should shoot for them all to be roughly the same size. If you want, you can roughly chop 6 ounces or 170 grams of spinach to throw into the pot. I include this purely for some added nutrition and an easier source of leafy greens in my diet. If I didn't care about maintaining my title as the healthiest person to ever live, there's no chance this is going in. You should also cut up 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, or 15 grams worth, which I didn't do because it's clear that I don't know how to read. As you cut up your vegetables, your beef will have finished browning. The best technique to cook them would be to remove the beef and give them the entire pot, but because I am currently kitchenless and I want to minimize the amount of dishes that I have to wash on my bathroom sink, I'm just going to toss everything into that same pot. Create some space in the middle of your pot and let the fat from the beef pool. Add in 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of red pepper flakes and allow them to bloom for a few seconds, and then add in your onions, carrots, celery, and garlic. Trying to get these vegetables to take up most of the surface of the pot will be best for technique purposes, but if you want to just mix everything up, that will be just fine too. You can see that's what I'm doing here. Because we're cooking the vegetables in the fat from the beef, I don't recommend choosing a leaner grind than the 85/15 beef unless you also plan to include some more oil when you add these vegetables. While those vegetables are softening and hopefully developing some color, you can open up your cans to prepare to be added. Then you can pour in 2 teaspoons or 4 grams of dried oregano, and then lightly season with salt and pepper to taste. Give it all a quick mix to incorporate the seasonings, and then add in 1 14.5 ounce can or 411 grams of petite diced tomatoes, 1 29 ounce can or 822 grams of tomato sauce, 1 15 ounce can or 425 grams of white kidney beans, and 1 15 ounce can or 425 grams of red kidney beans. I should note that I drain the liquid away from both cans of beans before adding to the pot. Next into the pot goes 2 cups or 480 grams of water, 32 ounces or 908 grams of chicken broth, and then 12 ounces or 340 grams of macaroni. Stir the contents of that pot together and let it come up to a boil. This is a hefty meal, and it's got a lot of volume in it, but everybody knows that to get big, you have to eat big. Once it's boiling, throw on a lid, reduce the heat to low, and allow it to simmer for 8 to 10 minutes. One of the most overlooked factors in growing muscle is your sleep. Anytime I've made appreciable strides in my strength, performance, or size, they can be tied to points in my life where I was able to get lots of sleep. And if you want to take your slumbers to the next level, Helix Sleep can help. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are custom fit to your needs and delivered straight to your door. And these mattresses are no joke. This is legitimately the heaviest thing in the world. I have no idea how the mailman even got it to my door. I might be the world's strongest man having picked this thing up. I could hear my neighbors saying as I brought it inside, "I didn't know Marius Pujanowski lived next door." He doesn't. That's just me. Helix has a sleep quiz that will match you with the mattress that fits your preferences and body type. You give it some of your stats and how you sleep, and it will spit out the mattress fit for you. In a shocking turn of events as I opened this box, I found out that not only am I the mayor of Snack City, but I'm also now the mayor of Nap City. One of my great misfortunes is that I've become quite the night sweater recently, mainly because I'm too cheap to turn my thermostat below 77 degrees, but I saw that one of the options for the mattress was to add a Glaciotex cooling cover, and I said, yeah, daddy's gonna need that. Turn me into an icicle. Each mattress has financing options and flexible payment plans, as well as a 100-night sleep trial, and make sure that you love it with a full refund if you don't. Click on the link in the description below to get your own Helix mattress for $200 off with 2 free pillows. Shout out to Helix Sleep. Bills are paid and we're back. Once the macaroni has softened, the cooking is done. You can see that it has thickened up quite a bit as the noodles had a chance to soak up some of that liquid. From here, all that is left to do is add in the chopped spinach and season it with salt and pepper to taste. Make sure you taste test and get the salt level to where you want it to be. As this mixture cools, it will thicken even farther and become less soup-like, especially after being in the fridge. To achieve a meal that has 899 calories like mentioned at the beginning of this video, you'll need to divide the contents of this pot evenly between 5 containers. Now these are big meals, so if you don't want that much food, or maybe you don't want that many calories, simply dividing the contents of the pot into more dishes is the easiest way to remedy those issues. On the recipe page on my website, there is a table that has the full nutrition estimates for the entire recipe. You can input how many meals you want this recipe, as I have it written to make, and it will give you the nutritional information. I had originally wrote this recipe to be 7 servings, so you'll see that as the default number on the recipe page. Don't change this for the 899 calorie portions, just divide the total amount of food made into 5 meals instead of 7. If you do that, each of these dishes will have around 899 calories and 58 grams of protein. Once the meals have cooled down a bit, you can place the lids on top and move them into your fridge. These will last up to 5 days in the fridge and are even a great candidate as a freezer meal. The liquid in this meal will help it to freeze and reheat well to maintain great flavor. For reheating, I pop it into the microwave for 2 to 3 minutes, stirring every minute or so. If I store them in plastic containers, I'll usually transfer them over to a glass dish before I microwave. I don't know if it makes a difference. I'm not a microwaved plastic scientist, but everyone in the comments tells me that it makes your rat and beans smaller, so glass reheating it is. And to answer your question of why I don't just store in glass in the first place, I don't have enough. What do you think, I'm made of money? I've only got a few glass containers and those are being used for something else. When it comes to growing muscle and gaining weight, maintaining a caloric surplus is going to be something that you will want to focus on, especially if you are not a beginner in the weight room. You've got to eat. It's pretty simple. To gain weight, the energy that you intake from food has to be greater than the energy that you expend through daily living and exercise. If you maintain that energy surplus over an extended period of time and pair that with some highly stimulative resistance training, there's a great chance you will build muscle. Because of its high protein content and caloric load, this pasta fagioli is a great recipe to add to your arsenal of bulking foods. The written version of the recipe is linked in the description below, and remember, don't change the number of servings in the actual recipe card from 7 servings. Instead, leave it the same and just divide it into 5 meals to get the larger portions. Hope you guys enjoy this one, and happy muscle building. Peace out.